welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode of 501 Tacos, the anime Unks edition. And we're going to have a poll for this. We can either be the anime Unks or established in the late 1900s podcast. And
I like anime Unks, low-key.
I do too. It flows off the tongue, but I've been wanting to have a joke as a title for a podcast established in the late 1900s because I got told that by fifth graders, which is why I now work in higher education because I'm not being bullied by toddlers anymore. My therapist says it was a good change. It was needed. But yeah, anyway, welcome back. Best voice in podcasting and history, spiciest podcaster. Yours truly, the host, Tako Ortiz. Here with my bro, my co-host, my homie, my ride or die, my ace, DB the Dark Britain. And DB has had a exciting change of fortunes as of late, and it's probably not the best phrase, but DB got something nice and something fun for him. And I'm going to let DB, instead of telling me personally, I want him to share this with the audience as well. DB, let him know.
So I don't know if anyone watching has noticed, but there's a giant Pokemon behind me, and I'm wearing a Team Rocket shirt. So it's Pokemon release day when we're recording this episode. So Pokemon ZA just came out last night. Had a lot of fun playing it. And I highly recommend it because if you liked the Legends game, but you wanted there to be like a much better battle mechanism in real time, I think it creates a much better usage of the Nintendo Switch. And I'm really excited to see it on the Switch 2 because I have it on Switch 1. So it does it very, very well. So everyone knows turn-based game, you take turns being able to play. That's how predominantly of Pokemon games are, because you have to select potions, you have to select moves, you have to decide between teams. This does it not necessarily flawlessly, but in a way that you can have this type of game. Now, the Generation 10, I don't think it'll be turn-based, but this as an quote-unquote more open-world game takes place in a city is a really good use of the amount of space that you have if you play it on a screen, especially. So the battle mechanisms in this game in the first 4 hours of playing have been a lot of fun. So that's been my first Now, some things are a little wonky from the start, especially if you're used to playing Pokemon as turn-based games and stuff like that. But so far, Legends ZA, from what I've seen, has been very interesting and exciting. I haven't gotten spoiled on what my starter's mega or new form is going to look like, so I'm excited about that. I'm hopefully going to do some grinding in the game and find that out tonight. But it's been, for it not to be the latest generation game, because generally it comes out in every 3 years. So this was supposed to be Gen 10 year, but next year is Pokemon's 30th anniversary for when it came out in Japan. They're just like, why not move the big 10 generation to the 30-year anniversary? So,
right.
And it gives them another year to make the game better. So for me, who's just like, why churn it out every 3 years? Churn it out when it's done. Good. One extra year of some cool stuff. So I've had a lot of fun. After we're done recording, I'm gonna jump right back into it. I took tomorrow off because I thought the game was going to be coming out tonight, because that's how smart I am. And in that, just going to enjoy the night, wake up, play it all day tomorrow, do some chores, and keep playing it. So I have a free weekend, too, outside of football and soccer, so football. But yeah, it's going to be a good weekend of just like Wayne, 37-year-old Wayne, just enjoying something I've loved since 10 years old. Yeah, I started playing when I was 10, so yeah.
Well, how old was that? Was I 9 then? I think I was 9. So, hey Wayne, if you excuse me, DB, I do love that you were transparent and use your real name though,
Oh yeah.
just so that people understand this is you as a person enjoying something that you've loved since you were a child. This isn't just podcast DB
Oh no.
doing a pitch.
Like
We don't get.
he asked me if I wanted to do this, and I was like, "Oh yeah!" Like it was.
Oh, and that's literally his face. Literally,
like,
folks.
I am so. I'm just glad that I can still enjoy it. Like
Yeah. So I want to ask if you can kind of say more about the battle mechanics because I haven't played a Pokemon game. It's not because I don't like Pokemon anymore. I just felt that it got so far away from what I grew up and loved. So if you could say more about the mechanics of this new game, not necessarily new generation, but new game a little bit more, because I want to actually try it. I want to get back into it. I actually think
okay.
was it Scarlet and not Sword and Shield, but Scarlet and what was the other one? The
Scarlet and Violet.
Yeah, I heard that was a good game actually. So
I had a lot of fun with that. The last I have enjoyed a lot of the nuanced mechanics that they've been trying. In Gen, let's see if I can get this right. Gen 8. Nope. Gen 7. It was when it was in Hawaii. And that was like the Pacific, that was the Alola region, so the
was
Hawaii
that Sun and
region.
Moon?
Yep, Sun and Moon.
That was the last one I played. I loved it.
Yeah, Sun and Moon. And that was they didn't have gym leaders. So that was a really fun new take, but you kind of at some point needed the gym leaders to like get to certain feats, if you will. Or at least that feel. And then it was the
Sword
British reason, which was Sword and Shield, which was the Gigantamax, which we were all just like, okay, kind of okay. But that really didn't introduce something new to the story. Whereas this last generation, and I will speak highly of Scarlet and Violet because it presents a game where you can play 3 paths in 1.
Okay.
And to probably break that down a little bit better, when you play a Pokemon game, it's generally you go on a mission, you defeat the 8 gym leaders, and along the way, you battle some type of evil team. That's interwoven together.
And a rival.
And a rival. In Sun and Moon, to what you were really liking, there was this new aspect of totems and these giant monsters that you have to defeat. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Scarlet and Violet has all 3 of those aspects. And you can literally only do one path, go back, then do all the gym leaders, go back, and then do all the giant monsters. Or it's going to be a pain in the ass getting to defeat the last giant monster, and then you're going to be able to wipe everything else, but you can do that. So there's 3, it really is 3 different stories in one. So it has a giant monster kaiju fight, it has the gym battles, and then it has the defeat the evil team. So I really advocate for Scarlet and Violet, and the fact is, it is 3 different paths you can take in one game, which which is the best they've ever done it. So that's why I'm like, give it 4 years for Gen 10, which because Scarlet, this one 9, British 8, Hawaii 7. Yes, okay.
Yeah. And so this is a quick segue. Besides Final Fantasy and Persona, I'm a huge Fire Emblem fan. I highly suggest and chat people, please help me peer pressure Wayne and DB, both his personas, into joining the Fire Emblem fandom. And I totally want him to play Fire Emblem Three Houses because it does have that aspect of 3 paths in one.
Well, and to your question about the game, the battle mechanics, I think Fire Emblem is a good example of. I do think Fire Emblem is still turn-based game,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Pokemon is not. This Pokemon is not, and this is what I mean by they're flirting with it being a live-action, non-turn-based game anymore, meaning that you can press simultaneously one attack, it starts to reload, quote unquote, and then you can press another attack, it'll start reloading, and then at the end of it, then you can start attacking when they're both reloaded, as opposed to
Nice.
waiting a turn each time. So
Yeah.
you can get 3 attacks off to its 1, but it can also get 3 attacks off on you to your 1. So you really have to try to have like better stats and speed and things like that. So
No.
it is a game that feels more like an actual like live Pokemon battle, because y'all are just jumping all over each other and trying to miss the attacks because you get hurt by it. It's like, okay, so this is like, so it has that live feel of, oh, look, there goes the fireball, I missed it, as opposed to Scarlet and Violet where you're safe behind it, and that's a turn-based game still.
Yeah.
Fire Emblem. So I like turn-based games because I like the time to think about it. So I have to go in like prepared to think on my toes and not be like, what do I want to do? It's like, oh, okay. It's a lot quicker, but
So
I enjoy that. It's
yeah,
fun.
thanks for clarifying because I have a preference for turn based. I'm also learning, or I've learned, that I like the 2D graphic games a lot. Like when they do like the really old school. I'm trying to think of what you call like the little, not necessarily pixels, so to speak, but like the little figures that are walking on and they're very 2D. Can't think of, but like Triangle Strategy is an example. Platform games, yeah. Triangle Strategy, and what was the other one I'm thinking of? Can't think of the name of it, but I love turn-based games because you're putting together a strategy and you have to kind of think your way through it. You have time to do so. You got to know all your team, pick the right team, especially in like the Fire Emblem Three Houses game. But I'm also playing Final Fantasy 16, so I've been going back and forth between this and Metaphor. Metaphor is turn-based.
Okay.
Final Fantasy 16, as you already know, it's just live action. I love the fact that I can Phoenix shift and dodge, precise dodge so like skillfully that I get bonus points. I'm just wrecking bosses like pretty much every fight. So
that's and I love that too. It took me a second to get the mechanics down, so I'll get it. But again, to prior this is Pokemon, Final Fantasy, like they are turn-based games. There's a reason I like thinking through the strategy to what you were talking about earlier. So I am very much someone who likes to think through the options. Yeah. So
yeah,
for better or worse.
So I mean, I'll probably try Scarlet and Violet soon.
I recommend
really loved, and you kind of gave us a jumping off point of getting into the other topics, but I want to say I did enjoy Sun and Moon. My all-time favorite is probably Black and White. I would say Sun and Moon is probably a close second. And I just really loved the story for Black and White.
The story is what got you. Okay.
Yeah, the story.
Who was your starter?
Which is that not Chimchar?
No, that was that's Tepig.
That's 4. That's Chimchar is 7 or 4.
Chimchar is.
I give my 4s and 7s because I did this early on the.
Chimchar is 4.
7 is.
7 is.
Is 5 the pig?
5 is the pig.
And then who's the? Is it Owlet? No, that's 7, I think. Who are the starters for Gen 5?
Gen 5, that should be New York. So that would be Tepig, Oshawott, and
Greco,
Snivy.
Snivy.
That's
I think I
black and white.
started with
Yeah,
Oshawott.
black. That's black and white. Are those
Yeah,
starters?
I started with Oshawott the first time. I think I did Tepic the second because I usually go with a fire starter.
I
And
normally do too, but it's a samurai otter. Come on.
exactly, like you can't say
Like,
no.
I'm sorry.
Like
I should I just
I'm sorry, I don't eat pork, so like I don't care how hot you make it.
like granted they could have done samurai a lot better. I
Yeah,
feel, um, especially along the whole sea lion route, a lot better. But yeah,
I'm joking.
Embor. I'm hoping I didn't pick the fire starter just because I want to see. Also, just to go back to the Legend ZA, I picked the water starter Totodile, and I'm gonna say it right now. I'm expecting it to be either a water ghost or a water poison in its new final evolution. It better
Okay,
have a
I
new
was
final
wondering
evolution.
like, does it change? Like, is it a whole different, like an Alolan variant now? Like, what's going on here?
That's what we got in the first Legends ZA is new types of evolution. So Rowlet the Owl, it has
Yeah.
two different types of evolutions.
Okay.
Cyndaquil, the little from Gen 2, it has two evolutions, and Oshawott, actually. Oshawott
Hmm.
has there's a new Samurai.
All right. All right. So now I gotta check out
Oh, the new
Legends EX.
Samurai's actually pretty dope. He looks really good. It's water dark, so he's really
Okay,
cool.
let's go. Let's go. All right. So now I gotta try this game out too, but
Yeah, Legends ZA.
I'm adding this to my list. I was making those two games. Um,
No, sorry, that was Legends Arceus. Sorry.
Resident
That
Arcade.
Yeah, Legends Arceus. That came out. It doesn't feel like it, but it was like 4 years ago too.
Wow, time flies, and it has been. This has been the longest decade of my life, actually.
Yeah,
And it's only like January of this year was like the longest year of my life. But yeah,
same,
but
same.
you mentioned merits or feats, I think, and that was one of the like kind of loose topics for the episode is how much weight do we attribute. All right, so if you're listening, if you're watching this episode, you're tuning in, whatever, you probably realize that I spend a lot of time on Reddit. I mention it pretty much every episode. Um, and I get a lot of topics from Reddit because people on Reddit are unironically hilarious and dim-witted at the same time. But some of the comedy is actually kind of funny when you're not reading the same six jokes over and over. And some of the posts are actually pretty provocative. But I saw some stuff today that really is more the brain rot that I'd scratch my head at, and I have to bug my buddy Sam, like, where do we go wrong as a society? How much weight do we give to statements versus feats? And I'm going to put my hands on the camera so you can see. Yes, I have my writer's pen because I'm always writing. Statements, feats. How much weight do we give to these? Because, the example, Naruto, Hiruzen is the strongest Hokage in history. Well, Cap, it's not true, and you're lying. We already know Lumberjack Hokage has an all wood kit, and he can, curve stomp Madara, who had the Rinnegan or the EMS, Kurama, Susanoo, and pretty much everything else in his kit. And Hashirama just has trees, Christmas trees, wood. That's why I call him Lumberjack Hokage, because he might as well be wearing a flannel. And it irks my soul. But statement is that Hiruzen was the strongest of all time. Well, Hiruzen was also be the strongest of his generation, and we also know that Onoki exists, and he has particle style, which is extremely broken. And I'm just trying to map it, make it make sense.
Yeah.
And I don't want to ask you. You're always very wise and measured. Is one other half of the anime Unks. What do you give more credit to or credence to? Because I like to think it's a healthy mix. But if you can't show up, then I think those statements you get to the bleach territory. Let's put it that way.
I think there's different levels of what we're trying to get at, because you can have statements made by people that are supposed to be incredibly powerful, incredibly X, Y, or Z. And those statements are supposed to be taken seriously because of the feats that they've made. But if those statements are made, say, like Mr. Satan from Dragon Ball, like,
it's a trick.
Like, it's like you would think his feats are insane because of his statements. And that's that nuance part of statements versus feats. Is it's the narrative war. I think that's, if anything, that's what he taught in Dragon Ball. It's whoever wins the narrative gets the public perception of it. I mean, that's true in the real world. I mean,
oh, absolutely.
So it's one to where, yes, Goku is the very strongest, but everyone thinks it's Satan because he's the one who took the credit for those actual feats just because of his statements. So that came out of nowhere. So I'm just gonna
go you, because you actually kind of tied that in a way that applies to the second topic, Luke's topic, about reading comprehension and some people not having any. The Naruto fandom also has admitted that there's a contingent of people that have not read or watched the actual material, and they just make shit.
Fights.
They didn't make shit up or read the comments and go whatever the popular opinion is. To your point.
Oh, that's even sadder.
I mean, literally, I can't think of what. Oh, it was Hanzo. Freaking Chio is during the war arc. Chio's giving the Shinobi Alliance a guidance on how to beat Hanzo. She's like, I've fought him numerous times in the past. His salamander can do this. Somebody literally put a screenshot of that panel and page to counter somebody else's argument. She was talking about the salamander, not Hanzo. She hasn't fought. How the fuck else is she gonna fight? Sorry, Khaleesi. How the fuck else is she gonna fight Hanzo or the salamander without Hanzo summoning it and he's not there? You know what? You see what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
That's the brain rot that I have to contend with. It's my own choice. I take accountability for my actions. But Jesus fucking Christ. Sorry, please. Like, how does she fight the salamander without fighting Hanzo? Because Hanzo summons the salamander because it's a summon and it's always with Hanzo when he summons it. Does he like summon it and send it to the sand? Like, so reading comprehension and public perception are feats versus statements, or feats versus statements. They all kind of go hand in hand, don't they?
Yeah, and it's one where that dynamic is who's making the feats and who's saying the statements. Because, yeah. But if you ever get into One Piece, Buggy is by far the biggest example. And when you meet the character, you'll be like,
The name is
oh.
familiar, and I'm
I mean, it's
wondering.
infamous in anime just because of that. You control the narrative. You control what people think about you.
I'm gonna like. I'm gonna do a live reaction next episode because I know I've heard his name, and I just can't remember the actual scenario of me hearing his name because, like you say, he's one of the most controversial figures. So we're gonna do a live reaction next time. Speaking of One Piece, what you got on the updates for One Piece? Any previews? Any insights? Any?
Well, we're on break this week, so
Ooh,
for me, it's going to be one where I'm just going to focus on gaming. We, in One Piece, are about to have the epic battle in God Valley, and this is still where we left off as far as I think the last time I talked to you was like, is it a 1v5 or is it a 3v3?
yeah, I remember
Yeah,
you mentioned that.
so
And that's
that's
such an interesting dynamic to set up as a plot hook.
so I'm very interested in next week when we get arguably one of the more I'm probably going to be the most epic full page spread in years because I'm guessing we're going to get like all of them just like squared off in a battle royale, and it's going to be like someone currently does at least by histories talking about controlling the narrative. They in this story, there's a lot of government oversight that negates certain events and big events of power clashings happening. So it very much is a propaganda driven society, which is wild. But
Well, doesn't
that's
the world government pretty much put out most of the propaganda against pirates?
mm-hmm. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Very much
I at
so.
least know that much. Yeah.
And it's one where um I I'm gonna be doing a workshop on One
Okay.
Piece 101 because I don't know if you've seen it, but in Nepal and Madagascar, there's been like Gen Z revolutions, and a lot of them have had the One Piece Jolly Roger on their banners and signs and flags and things. And someone during a workshop I did for the elderly on anime asked me, was like, "So is this something about rebellion?" And I'm like, "Well, it's about freedom." And in those aspects of freedom, people are going to rebel against in what oppresses them, and you can see them like really digesting that as like that makes sense. So I am very excited that One Piece has become this global phenomenon about freedom and throwing down those who oppress you. So I'm interested in the next few chapters, especially how the world is embracing One Piece as a whole. Of like tear down the conventional norms. Live your life as a pirate.
Well, we already. Oh crap! That was actually supposed to be one of the topics. Um, uh, me joining your pirate crew. That
Oh
text I
yeah.
sent you the other day.
If like Oda just puts out where the One Piece is and it's just like, all right, we're out. All right, we're out.
Yeah, yeah. Literally, I'm gonna join. Never read. Well, I can't say never. I don't know that much about One Piece. I know I read an arc or two or whatever, but yeah. Um, if Oda does not reveal what One Piece is and comes out in a public statement and says he's left it all in one piece, like they left the answer in one piece in the real world, I'm joining Wayne's team,
Like
and we're
it's
gonna just so I can add pirates to my resume. That's literally all I want to do is just add
just like
pirates to my.
an, and that's the tough part because now he's been traveling the world for this stupid movie, so it could be anywhere. Originally, I'd be like, oh, it'll be in Japan. Like, all of us, like, overtake the island. No. He's been in South Africa. He's been in, like, South America, like, Australia for these movies. Like, damn. Okay, Oda. Where can it be? But, yeah.
He's been in the South a lot.
It's crazy time to be a fan. Great time to be a fan.
Yeah. And it's interesting you mentioned propaganda because in Kagurabachi, the group, well, actually first, the government puts out some propaganda about the war and why there was this huge war thought that is the source of these enchanted blades, which are like stand-ins for nuclear weapons.
Okay.
Well, then the criminal organization, like the bad guys, whatever, basically runs the reverse engineers the propaganda to slander the heroes in the government, and it's a masterpiece because they know they don't have enough evidence to prove it, but they have enough evidence to make people question their leaders. So I'm really, one thing I'm enjoying about Kagurabachi, and everybody hears me shit on Bleach. Sorry, Felicity. Hears me shit on Bleach regularly, but Kagurabachi is like Bleach done well. Like, it's edgy, it's cool, it's action. It's for teenage boys, so they love action. You and me, we both love the stories behind stuff, not just the crazy cool sword fights. Mm-hmm. But Kagurabachi has so many nuanced lessons that aren't necessarily always super subtle, but it's just so well written that it flows well. And so, like, the meditations on nuclear weapons and gun violence and war and, everything in between, hate, revenge, are our heroes really our heroes, or do we get to control the narrative because we won the war and we get to villainize the losing side, things like that. All of those really play a big role in the themes of Kagurabachi. So I really love that it has some of the best action sequences and fights in anime right now, or manga at least, because they haven't started the anime. But coming up on chapter 100 this weekend will be 98. So in 2 weeks, around the start of November, we're getting chapter 100. And that's when we're going to see
which is a big accomplishment.
Absolutely. And we're going to see, I'm calling either one of the bigger traders that they're still searching for, or the bad guys are actually going to get that a nuclear weapon that they're trying to get their hands on, the enchanted blade. That's the strongest of all the enchanted blades. There's also the possibility that the Swordmaster, who is this just absolutely insane figure who snapped and murdered 200,000 people, is going to finally be broken free. So there's a lot of stuff in the mixing pot, and we are. I'm on the edge of my seat waiting to see what happens. But yeah, it's such a well-paced and well-written story. I think that's another thing that gets lost in today's society, is a well-paced story.
True. Very true.
I mean, I'm not going to rag on Boruto today, but the pacing of the story is a huge issue I have since Kodachi was dropped and Ikamoto or Kishi or whoever is the lead writer has taken over the story. So pacing is a huge. I mean, it's something I try to be mindful of, and really master my own writing.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I think Kairabati has just a really well-paced story.
That's legit. And again, hitting that 100 mark is nothing to sneeze at. There are so many good ones that just don't make it. Just don't make
Yeah,
it.
yeah. My buddy Sam thinks Otter the Flame isn't gonna make it. I really want to do a deeper dive into it. I just have so much on my own plate right now that it's kind of falling behind some other stuff. So I'll add it to my agenda. Like I have to add One Piece and really start like paying more attention to it. But just trying to manage my plate before I get overwhelmed and one thing at a time. Like I got this my grad class after this session, so I'm just trying to stay on top of stuff and really do deeper dives into some more anime and manga. Because we actually got a new Chosen Next chapter. Finally, after a month.
There you go.
Yeah,
how long has it been?
It's been about a month, like 3 or 4 weeks. September. We got the chapter on the 13th. So I think it was like September 11th or 14th, one of those. I can't remember the exact days. But we got a new chapter, Chosen Next chapter. So, trying to keep up with my own series. Trying to add some new series, trying to expand my own palette. There are some days I don't feel like a well-read otaku, but Unks will get it. Unks will get it. Anything else on the agenda for you, sir? Or should I let you go play some more video games?
I think that was a really good run through of all the things going on the mind, especially being able to talk about the turn-based games. So I'm good. I'm good on the day.
I mean, honestly, I want to thank you for actually taking the time to actually record this episode, because I would not have been mad at you if you just wanted to, nerd out to that new game for another couple of days.
So, no, you're good. No, this is always fun. I'll be going to bed in like 2 hours, so this gives me a good break, and now I can like push on, be like, all right, I got 2 drinks to get through. Let's go, and just like end the night on a good end.
Yeah, I literally want to get back in the metaphor, because my day has just been meetings and a lot of positive stuff, but
good.
My social battery is low, and I really just want to play some metaphors and Genshin, because I'm actually starting to make some headway in Genshin, so that's actually fun.
Good. Genshin Impact, right?
Yeah, my buddy Sam got me into it, and now that I'm really like progressing into the story and some of the narrative is actually fun. It's like a different version of Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. It has that type of vibe for me, so.
That's legit.
Yeah.
All
right, ladies and gentlemen. Well, thank you for checking us out another episode of 501 Tacos, the anime Unks. Back at it again. We'll be back with you next week. Try to have some new topics, something fresh to talk about. Till then, Larry Space Cowboys.